at this hour, we are watching live pictures in cities all across the nation as protesters gather for the fourth night in a row. An overnight curfew in place for the city starting in 3 hours and running through the entire weekend. Today, the big news, though, former Minneapolis PD officer Derek Chauvin arrested and charged with third-degree murder. And we start the show tonight with a number, a time to be more specific, 2 minutes and 53 seconds. And on the screen, you will see a clock counting up to that time to convey just how much activity can occur and how much information can be relayed in that interval. Because late today, we learned it is the length of time that Chauvin allegedly had his knee on Mr. Floyd's neck after he was non-responsive. The total time his knee was on Floyd's neck was over 8 minutes. Now, the official complaint states that after Floyd stopped moving, another officer checked his pulse, checked his right wrist for a pulse, and said, "I couldn't find one." And that is all on body camera video that we have not even seen yet. The footage was obtained by the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension and depicts that whole scenario. Now, Chauvin, now arrested for third-degree murder, is accused of causing Floyd's death, quote, without regard for human life, but also without the intent to kill. The complaint also says that the preliminary autopsy results do not find evidence of strangulation. Here's the county attorney today making that announcement.
Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin has been charged by the Hennepin County Attorney's Office with murder and with manslaughter. This is what we've charged now. Investigation is ongoing. I'm not going to speculate today of the other officers. They are under investigation. I anticipate charges.
Now, the prosecutor said that there could be more charges coming, but not only for Chauvin, but also for the other officers involved. And new details are emerging about the surprising history of these two men. They reportedly worked at a nightclub together. In fact, the former building owner telling local news that they overlapped security shifts, but is not sure whether or not they actually knew each other. Now, all these developments, as the microscope focuses now on the troubled history of the Minneapolis Police Department, we're going to get into that as well. And we're going to bring you Trump's reaction to all of this. In fact, he tweeted overnight threatening the military violence against the looters. All of this as the country, amid the pandemic, has its attention on Minneapolis, where last night protesters set the police precinct on fire. Joining me now is MSNBC's Ali Velshi, who's in Minneapolis covering all of this for us. Ali, a lot of developments there, and we've had this clock ticking since the beginning of the show to give our viewers what 2 minutes and 53 seconds actually looks like and the information that can be conveyed during all of that. But give us a quick synopsis of what you're seeing as we descend into evening.
All right, I mean, we're 3 hours away from the imposition of a curfew from 8 p.m. Minneapolis time, 9 p.m. Eastern time until 6 a.m. We're not sure how that's going to work. The police have put it out there that they want everybody inside. They want everybody off the streets. But remember, here in South Minneapolis, 24 hours ago, the police didn't even have a presence here, let alone control of it. Now, what we have here in the streets of South Minneapolis is we've got some protesters that have been gathering through the course of the day. There is no Minneapolis police force presence where I am right now. What you have is a very, very heavy state patrol presence and other police forces and National Guard. You can see on either end of these state police barricades, they're National Guards. They put up these Jersey barriers here. We're about 3 blocks away from the police station, the precinct that was taken over by protesters about 11 p.m. last night. And what the police have done is made sure that everybody's away from that center of gravity. So it's moved out about 3 blocks here. Lots of tension, Eamon, between the National Guard and the police and the protesters over here. But the numbers are much, much smaller than they were yesterday at this time. Again, we don't really know what's going to happen when 8 o'clock our time comes along, 9 o'clock Eastern. Do people dissipate? Are the police going to force people off the streets? Is tension going to dissipate? The question a lot of people have here is what's happened to the other 3 police officers? And one of the questions that keeps coming up is no one's seen the so-called perp walk. No one's seen the arrest of this officer. So a lot of people saying, what's the story? story. What's going on? Why does this not feel like the wheels of justice are in motion? A lot of dissatisfaction in this crowd about the way this has been handled. But what we're really looking for is to understand what's going to happen in the next few hours. The fires, by the way, seem to be put out, Eamon. Last night there were several fires. You could just see a little bit of it, Miguel. You can see there's still some smoke over there. And beyond that is the police station, the police precinct. But right now, for several blocks around this hot spot, a place that's been a hot spot for the last few nights, they now have cleared it of people. So if you can argue that the police are in control of it, I don't know what it means because protesters can't get to it. But these are residential areas, and it is important to understand that while there were commercial buildings that were mostly attacked in the looting, these are residential areas, and the mayor did say last night, into the wee hours of the morning, that the police have to be able to protect this area, the 3rd precinct. It's not, again, entirely clear that that's happening, but there is a very heavy presence of authority here, which wasn't here yesterday, Eamon.
Yeah, and Ali, just as we were coming to you, that clock hit 2:53, but it gives us a sense of just, it felt like an eternity to get to you with that time and the information we were able to convey to our viewers. Certainly feels like a long time for a police officer to react to someone saying he can't breathe and at the same time being told by others he doesn't have a pulse.
Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.